It's story time, it's story time, it's story time. Come on over, sit right down, it's story time. It's story time, it's story time, it's story time. Come on over, sit right down, it's story time. 1, 2, 3, freeze. Look, listen. Shh. Today I have, and you won't believe it, for my friends in yellow high tops, another Jan Brett book. Check out the artwork. It's called The Three Little Dassies, and this is a retelling of The Three Little Pigs with an African twist. See the back, it doesn't have any words here, just a picture. More of that recognizable Jan Brett artwork. And on the inside, it has a picture of Jan Brett on a trip she took to Africa. And it says, my African version of the Three Little Pigs story began in 2007 when my husband Joe and I camped in Namibia in southern Africa. One morning we climbed up and sat by a freshwater spring. Sunning on the rocks were little rock dassies, the cutest and most unusual creature you can imagine. And there's a picture of the dassie there. That's a real one. And it says they're creatures with a big nose like a koala, bright eyes and soft fur, and a red-headed agama lizard came along and acted as if he owned the place. Then the whistle of eagles overhead sent the dassies running for cover. Eagles have a strong appetite for dassies. I went home with images of dassies, the agama lizard, and eagles dancing in my head until they became my characters, with the three little dassies in dresses and flat turbans like the ones worn by the Herero woman since Victorian times. Joe and I agreed that our trip had turned into a treasure hunt. You can see the artwork on the cover. There's a bunch of different insects. And the same in the front cover. The Three Little Dassies by Jan Brett. The Three Little Dassies by Jan Brett. Hot, hot, hot. The little dassies were almost grown up, and it was time for them to find their own place. Mimby, Pimby, and Timby waved goodbye to Mommy, Daddy, aunties, uncles, and all their cousins, and set out for the distant mountain. Come and visit us, they shouted. A place cooler, a place less crowded, a place safe from big eagles. The sisters traveled all day and all night across the Namib Desert, arriving at the foot of the mountain the next morning. This is where we will live, they agreed excitedly. Welcome, a squeaky voice called out from the scree. It came from a handsome, smiling Agama man. No one has lived here for a long, long time. Just me and a family of eagles up on the mountain. Eagles? The three little dassies shivered in the hot, hot sun. Where would they build their homes? Mimby eyed the long grasses. These grasses will make a lovely cool house, she said, and she set to work, cutting, twisting, braiding, and bundling. She finished in no time. Be near and dear, sisters, she said, crawling inside for a nap. Let's check the clue. What's the next sister using? Looks like sticks. Pimby spotted pieces of driftwood. Oh, that is a type of dried out wood. Silver from the sun, lying in the sand of the dry riverbed. These will make a fine wooden house, she said, and she set about collecting as many pieces as she could find. And when it was finished, she hung up a hammock and called out, "Be near and dear, sisters, while I rest my eyes." Let's take a look at what the eagles are doing. Uh-oh. It looks like he's getting ready to search for some food. What's the third sister working on? Oh, she has found some stones. Timby looked at the rocks around their mountain. "I will make a stone house," she said, "but it won't be as easy to build as one made of grasses or sticks." And it wasn't. She had to work all day in the hot sun to get it finished in time to sleep in it. A Gama man had been watching them. He was happy they were staying on. He had missed having company. Let's check in on the eagles again. Oh, soaring above the hot, hot desert. I hope he doesn't find the Dassies. The three little Dassies slept late into the morning as the sun rose higher and higher in the sky. The big old eagle who lived up on the mountain stretched his wings and flew down to look for a meal for his hungry chicks.
Mommy.
Let's check in on that eagle. Soaring through the sky. Mimby woke up hungry and went outside. Suddenly, a long-winged shadow passed over her. "The eagle!" she cried and hurried back into her grass house. "I see you, Dassie," the eagle screeched and swooped down. "I'll flap and I'll clap and I'll blow your house in," he squawked, beating the air with his wings until the grass roof sailed off. The eagle grabbed Mimby and lifted her up, up, up to his nest. There they go, flying away. But the eagle was greedy. No sooner had he dropped Mimby into the nest than he spotted Pimby in front of her stick house. 2 Dassies would be double delicious, he thought, and down he went, feathers flying. Pimby looked up and saw him coming. She turned and ran back inside. There she is, running inside. And Mimby in the eagle's nest.
Yeah.
The eagle landed and screeched, "I'll flap and I'll clap and I'll blow your house in," he squawked. Twigs flew, sticks rattled until Pimby's stick house fell apart. Then, just like Mimby, she felt herself being lifted high into the sky and plunked down in the eagle's nest. Timby looked out to call her sisters to come for breakfast of tasty seed porridge. But instead of a grass house and a stick house, she saw a long shadow streaking across the rocks. "I see you, Dassie. Here I come." And there's Mimby and Pimby together in the nest.
I hear them.
The eagle landed and shrieked, "I'll flap and I'll clap and I'll blow your house in." He flapped and clapped and beat his wings. Dust and sand blew everywhere, but the stone house didn't move. He tried again, flapping and clapping even harder. Dust and sand got in his eyes, but the stone house didn't budge. Oh. Look at what Mimby and Pimby are up to.
What?
I think they're making their escape.
Oh.
When the dust settled, the stone house was still standing. but the eagle was coughing and sneezing. His wing feathers were bent and broken, and he was missing tail feathers. Knowing when to quit, he hopped his way up to his nest. At least he had 2 Dassies waiting for his dinner. I don't think he has anyone anymore. It looks like they managed to escape.
Me too.
The eagle reached his nest, but the Dassies were gone. He looked down and saw them at the bottom of the mountain, heading for the stone house. It was his last chance. He streaked toward the open chimney. We know what happens at this part of the story. Let's see if this one tells it the same way.
Yeah.
Inside, the 3 sisters hugged each other. "There's nothing like a stone house when there are eagles abundant," they cried. Just then, the eagle tumbled down the chimney. "I'll flap, and I'll clap, and I'll—" A hot blast from the fire hit him. "Ah, fly home for a nap," he squealed. As fast as he could, he squeezed back up the chimney and flew home, all black and singed from the smoky fire. And Mimby, Pimby, and Timby never saw so much as a tail feather of that eagle ever again.
That's the end. No, it's not the end.
Oh, it looks like their family finally came to visit. Mommy, Daddy, aunties, uncles, and all their cousins, Agama man too, had come to celebrate. "Welcome," the sisters cried, "to a place cooler, to a place less crowded, to a place safe from eagles." And if you travel to Namibia today, you will see Dassies living in stone houses with handsome Agama men looking out for them. As for the pesky eagles, they are easily spotted, for their feathers are black as soot. And that is the end.